Unleashed Overtime starts right now.
All right, well, Pat has been summoned down the hall. He's doing some other show. I don't know. Some Glenn guy needed him to fill in. And I wanted to say to you, Chris Cruz, thank you so much for giving me Chick-fil-A. But the last time you did this, I couldn't control myself, and I started eating it on the air. And boy, did I hear from it. So my apologies for being rude and having no manners. Kirk Cameron was on with us on Pat Gray Unleashed this morning. And he is graciously hanging. I know he's hungry. I know him and Zach, who are hanging out here.
You made me hungry with that Chick-fil-A you had in your hand.
Oh, yeah. So
well, Pat Gray gave you a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah. Oh, it's sitting out there. You got to pick it up when you're done.
Sitting out there.
Yeah. So thanks for hanging out here, because I know you got other things you got to do, and so we appreciate you making extra time here. Kirk traveling with Zach Bell. Zach is like I guess you're a PR guy, right? I mean, because you and I have texted in the past about guests and stuff, so it's cool to find. I'm finally meeting Zach, too. How cool.
I always love meeting the people I'm emailing with and texting in person. It's so cool.
There you go.
Nice to finally meet you in person.
Very good. And then, of course, Chris Cruz hanging out here as well.
The Chris Cruz.
The Chris Cruz,
yes,
yeah. And I thought what might be fun, Kirk, if you're willing to do this, I used to do like this little hobby podcast where I would sit down with people. Chris has been a guest. Daniel's been a guest. Glenn's been a guest. Where I just sit down and I just ask questions about your life, you know?
Yeah.
Because, and like I told you before we started this overtime, you know, first of all, you've had this celebrity life where you could just relax and just sit back.
Get fat. Raise my blood pressure, watching the news,
Pointing
not doing anything to solve problems.
Right. But you're sticking your neck out, man. I mean, it's got to be tough.
Well, and with hanging out with Zach, it's not just sticking my neck out. I'm putting my nose in the blender, and it's been a blast.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We're pushing back the darkness, making inroads for the kingdom of light. And my wife still loves me. The sun still comes up in the morning. Good. Let's go.
That's good. That's
right.
good. So do you live predominantly out in L.A.? Because that's got to add a level of difficulty that you don't, you're taking slings and arrows as it is, but you're doing it out in L.A. too?
Well, listen, what happens in California eventually spreads to the whole country, right? Uh-huh. What we see in New York and California, it's like eventually it's going to hit Iowa and Kansas. It's even coming to Texas.
Oh, it's here.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to hold the line out in California so y'all don't have to deal with it.
Well, we appreciate that a lot. Now, where were you born, man? Like, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Los Angeles.
Okay, so you were born.
Yeah. My wife was born in New York, Buffalo, New York. So I've always lived out there, and pound for pound, I think California has more to offer than any other state in the union. Think about it. We got mountains, we got beaches. You can snow ski and surf in the same day. We have no humidity, gorgeous weather, no bugs, the best restaurants, the best stores.
Yeah.
You have agriculture, we have oil, we have more Bible-believing, God-fearing, constitutional-loving Christians than probably any other state. We got 40 million people out there.
Okay.
There's so much good out in California, but then you got San Francisco and Los Angeles, right? And then you've got Gavin Newsom, and you've got some forces that really condense power in powerful places.
Yeah.
That really kind of make it awful with $7 a gallon for gas.
I lived in California for about a year, and the one thing I did not like was the traffic, LA traffic.
Yeah.
Even though you had like 8 lanes on each side.
That's right. That's right.
That was a lot.
We need Elon Musk to build that tunnel.
How's that process? Like, are we done with the tunnel? Because he's been talking about tunnel for like 6 years now.
Yeah. Or jetpacks.
Jetpack would be fun.
I don't know.
Jetpacks would be cool.
But I have learned to love so much about California. Taking sunset walks on the beach, man, is just, there's a lot of beauty there.
Zach, I'm going to have you put this under Kirk's right hand.
Oh, absolutely.
So that when he hits the thing, it doesn't echo so much.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Thank you. But I enjoy Tennessee. I enjoy Texas. Yeah. I've got friends all over. We have 6 children. 2 are in Colorado, 2 are in Tennessee, one's in Massachusetts, and one's in Wyoming. So we're kind of everywhere.
Wow. Yeah. So So Zach, you're based out of Houston, right?
Yep, based out of Houston.
So how much traveling are you doing with Kirk? Is it just Texas stuff, or are you going everywhere with him?
So, Kirk does a lot of speaking engagements. He does that on his own. He doesn't need me to go with him. But for anything that would be related to the Brave Book Story Hour tour, now we're taking on Scholastic, so we're traveling to public schools here in a few weeks, and we're doing a trip up to New York to do some media, and I get to go on those trips with them, all the fun stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I know you guys are going to leave here in just a few minutes, go grab some breakfast before your other engagements. And I got to ask you, Kirk, because it's just going to be a couple guys going out, getting breakfast. And do you have encounters out in public? And when you have those encounters, are they generally positive, or do you get some radical folks coming up to you giving you crap?
A little of both. Mostly the first. Mostly positive. Mostly good. I have been known to spontaneously break into the Growing Pains theme song right there in the middle of Starbucks if I meet a super fan of Mike Seaver.
Love it.
So I really do love meeting people, and I did nothing to deserve a chance to have a job where I was part of people's favorite memories growing up as a kid.
Absolutely.
Met some great people here who work at the Blaze, who said that they grew up, and when they were 12 years old, in their heart they were married to Mike Seaver.
Thank you for saying that, because this person told me, hey, I was married to that guy out there, right?
Yeah,
when
they were
what are you talking about? And I was like, does he know that?
and I think, man, that's just so. That what a blessing that is.
Yeah.
And so I'm really thankful when I'm out somewhere and people say, hey, that show was something that really was part of my childhood.
So let me ask you this. First of all, are you a big sports fan? You care about sports at all? Follow it?
I care about it when my kids are caring about it, and when my wife's a Buffalo Bills girl.
I was actually going to ask you that.
So we are part of the mafia.
Okay, yeah.
We did go to 4 Super Bowls when Jim Kelly was the quarterback. We didn't win, but we had Bruce Smith, we had Thurman Thomas, we had Andre Reed, we had Steve Tasker. That was great. And So we
root for them?
Yeah, we root for them, and we were a big soccer family with the kids growing up. But in general, and like you're talking about right now, I'm running around so much, doing so many things that I enjoy sports, but I'm not a fanatic.
I gotcha. So let me ask you this, and the books that you've written don't count, but what is the last book that you read, Kirk Cameron? Anything come to mind that
And the Bible does not count either.
Probably, you can't be doing the Bible.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. The Bible's one of those books. You have to. I'm not going to say the Bible, but since you brought it up, it's the book that it gets discounted every single time in any list. Do you know that there would never be another number one book on the New York Times best-selling book if you allowed the Bible to be in the race? Because it's always number one. Printed in more languages and more copies every year, and given away and sold than any other book in history. So anyway.
No, that's cool.
I was going to give you a book.
Okay.
What book?
Could be your favorite book. Doesn't have to be like the most.
What? Oh gosh, so many of the books that I read are commentaries on the Bible. So it's
fine.
not the Bible.
So recommend one, because
here's a great book. Actually, I know a great book. This is from one of my dearest best friends. He's been a mentor of mine, and he just died. And so I miss him greatly. And this is a book that has been very important to me. It's called The American Covenant, The Untold Story.
Yes.
And he wrote it because he says our founders understood some things we've forgotten. And until we remember those things, we'll not get back the blessing they left us.
Wow.
And it's really important, and it's a great read. It's called The American Covenant, The Untold Story. I actually taught through that book for 100 consecutive days next to a campfire in my backyard during the COVID shutdown in California. I called it the American Campfire Revival. And you can get it at Amazon. You can get it anywhere. American Covenant. That's the name of the book.
Okay. And put you on the spot again here. What's the most scared you've ever been in your life, Kurt?
Wow. The most scared I've ever been.
See, you didn't get a chance to prepare for
this.
this. I'm just hitting you with these questions that I used to ask on my podcast.
I 2 times. One, I thought I was having a heart attack. I called my doctor and I couldn't speak. It turned out to be indigestion. Okay.
Was that embarrassing?
Then, yes.
Oh no.
Then the other one was I was on a Continental Airlines flight, which is not around anymore, I don't think. I was going from LA to Denver, and 5 minutes into the flight, the captain came on and told us that we were going back to Los Angeles because the landing gear was possibly no longer working. And just for the sake of brevity, I won't go into all of the details, but we assumed our emergency landing positions. The flight attendant came on. She told us to, tuck your head between your knees, grab your seat, blah, blah, blah. And I start talking to the lady next to me saying, look, you got things right between you and God? Because I think we could be going down right now.
That's a good chance
that's a good,
to
yeah.
win.
And I thought if there was ever a chance, right? And so we had a good conversation. She whipped out her rosary beads. Wow. I was looking out the window, and as we came in for landing, the flight attendant was screaming, head down, stay down, head down, stay down.
Word.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And there's fire engines lining the runway as we approach. And we came in, and I thought, God, this is it. Oh, God. Holy cow. And we came in, and we landed, and it was just fine.
That's incredible.
But my heart was racing.
Yeah, so when something like that happens and the landing gear is stuck, right? Why not just keep going to Denver? Because,
That's what I figured. They didn't want to clean up the mess.
Right,
They were like,
exactly.
no.
The airport's like, nah, we're not going to deal with that. Go back home. Go back home.
At least if everything works out, you're now where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Now I got to get on another flight in L.A.
I do have to ask this because you don't have to tell the story out there, but what's your favorite animal? And I hope it's the one that we talked about outside.
The one you killed?
Oh, he gave the story. Oh,
Sorry, I ruined the punchline. I
No,
should
you're
have seen
good.
that coming.
No,
I should have seen that coming.
But Kirk was telling us about an amazing story about a buffalo, and I felt so bad because I'm like, man, I killed a buffalo 3
You
years
didn't
ago.
have to show him the picture of you
But
with
I
the
felt,
dead buffalo,
so
bro.
convicted because he's so passionate about the buffalo. I'm like, I have to tell him that I killed one. I don't know why I confessed that to you.
Let me ask you.
It was it. It was your conscience.
It was.
It was really bad.
I love buffalo, but actually, truth, they're bison, the North American bison. It's
Yeah, the
actually
bison.
not even a
Yeah.
buffalo.
Yeah.
It's a bison. But frogs have always been my favorite animal. Something about frogs I really like, and the color green. I don't know why. Maybe that
Interesting.
says something about me
I don't know.
psychologically.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some
I don't know.
Rorschach-
I think there's
You
a
could ask
test
Jordan-
out there you can take, and green
yeah.
means something.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson could tell me
There
what
you
it
go.
is.
Yes. So here's a question. I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to ask Zach. I mean, you're a celebrity, but what is, say, a celebrity that you've encountered that you were like, oh my gosh, I've got to get my picture made with so and so? Like, who is your favorite celebrity meeting of all time?
My favorite celebrity meeting of all time. And then I'll tell you my worst celebrity meeting of all time.
Okay. Oh no. Was it as embarrassing as indigestion?
No, it was embarrassing. I was embarrassed for the other guy.
Oh no.
So my favorite celebrity meeting was Henry Winkler. I grew up on Happy Days.
Sure.
Watched the Fonz all the time. I mean, he was just the coolest, right? Snap your fingers, 2 girls come running towards you to slow dance in the diner, hop on your motorcycle and drive off, right?
Yeah.
Henry Winkler.
And he's so much more versatile actor than just that role that
so
for the
cool.
longest time people just thought
But the
of him as.
Fonz was the man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then one day I was at a promotional thing for ABC when I was on Growing Pains, and there he was. But he didn't look like the Fonz. No leather jacket, didn't have his shoe polish, black, slick back hair and jeans and boots. He was like in a tweed suit. And I went up to meet him, and he said, Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. Really nice to meet you. And I was like, totally not
caught off
expecting
guard,
that.
were you?
I was expecting, and he was the nicest, gentlest, kindest, soft-spoken man
Seems
ever.
like it.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
somebody took over,
That's
his
cool.
body, and he was a delight to meet. And then I was at another media thing, and there was William Shatner. He was on that. Was it L.A. Law? Was it
Boston
Legal.
something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he was on LA Law. I don't know.
So anyway, we were such Star Trek fans back in the '80s that my dad named me after Captain Kirk.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
The family legend is that my sister Bridget was originally going to be named Spock, but my mother wouldn't let it happen.
Oh, that would be nice.
And I got to meet Henry Winkler. I'm sorry, I got to meet William Shatner, who was Captain Kirk back in the day. And when I went up to go say hello to him, I said, "Mr. Shatner, my name is Kirk Cameron. I'm on a show called Growing Pains here on ABC. You've probably never seen it, but my dad named me after your character on Star Trek, and I just wanted to shake your hand." And all I remember was him sort of looking at me like he didn't have time to talk, and he kind of gave me a little pat and just said I don't remember exactly what he said, but the takeaway was,
okay,
"That's cute, kid.
Run along.
Scram, get on."
gosh.
That was the
that.
vibe. And I thought,
William
man,
Shatner
that was
is
like
my guy.
that was so deflating
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he was like a childhood hero.
And
so
you probably blocked out what he said because it hurt so much.
So I think the moral of the story is if you have like childhood heroes from TV or music stars or something like that, just savor those memories. Maybe you don't want to meet all of your childhood heroes.
No
They
kidding.
may not live up to your memories.
Expectations.
I bet. Yeah.
Some of them do though.
Yeah.
Like Henry Winkler.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
you know who else does? Oh, there's a couple of true blue ones. There's a singer, Stephen Curtis Chapman. Have you ever heard of him? He's the most awarded artist in all of Christian music history. Real deal, good guy. And there's others that are
Rob
really
Shiner
amazing
was
guys.
here a couple of months ago. He was the nicest human.
When you meet a true blue, they're rare and precious, and boy,
he
they're so
took me
great.
to his dressing room here, and we started talking. I'm like, I'm literally talking to Rob Schneider right in front of me. I did not remember anything he said, but it was such a nice experience. And I was telling him, I'm going to Israel in a couple of weeks. Go here, go here, go here, and go here. I'm like, yes, sir.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
cool,
It was
man.
awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I guess for me, it would probably be one time when George Foreman came into the studio and Pat and I were in Houston. And George Foreman just showed up because he lives down there. And he was all by himself. I mean, he was just like Henry Winkler as far as, soft spoken, get him in a ring and
tear your head off.
Right. But such a very genuinely nice guy. Zach, I mean, obviously in your job, you cross paths with a lot of celebrities, I'm sure. Other than, you can't say Kirk Cameron.
I was gonna say Kirk Cameron, but now that I can't,
I took
I'm
it
just
from
kidding.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so the celebrity that I had the opportunity to meet that I was the most appreciative to meet him was a guy that played football at the University of Florida. I'm gonna give you guys.
Oh, I got it.
I'm gonna give you guys a hint here. Halftime championship game. They're down. He runs into the middle of the locker room. He calls all the other players around him and he goes, "Get in here. Get in here. We've got 30 seconds for the rest of our lives. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives." Tim Tebow.
absolutely.
I grew up reading his books, and I love sports. I played sports growing up. I played basketball and baseball, and he was just a guy that I looked up to, and I got to meet him at a gala in Alabama. I went to school at Auburn, and had the opportunity to go to a gala where there was just a few people there, and I got to talk to him for almost 20 minutes.
Oh,
and
cool.
just to and he was listening to me intently and answering all the questions I had, and didn't look like he didn't want to talk with me, a low-level college student, but he just was the real deal. So Tim Tebow, he's the man.
That's very cool.
So-
Very cool. I know you guys are hungry. I'm going to ask you one more question here, Kirk, before we take off here. If you could go back in history, can't say Jesus, who would you like to meet? Have dinner with? See, normally
Wow.
you get a heads up on some of these questions.
Yeah.
But, okay, you can have 3 people at the table. Dinner with 3 people from history. Jesus doesn't.
Give him
Gosh,
Jesus
I
on
don't-
this
I don't-
one. Give him
I
Jesus
don't
on this.
know.
He got 3 of them.
No, Jesus is providing the food,
Oh, okay, got it.
The bread.
the bread, right, and the wine.
Yeah.
I mean, are you a big history buff? I mean, is there a period in time?
and there's a period of time that I really like, and there's a man named William Bradford. Actually, yeah. So
I love that
I think our
answer.
friend Katarina Bradford is actually a descendant of William Bradford,
Of
and
course
her
it is.
father's name is
An employee here
and
at
her
the Blues.
father's name is William Bradford.
Wow.
It makes sense.
It makes perfect
Katarina,
sense.
100%.
Katarina, she know what she's talking about.
Yes.
Okay, so William Bradford was the governor of the Pilgrims, and he was an amazing man. And I've been to his grave in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and read his memoirs, and he's just somebody that I love. There's
The guy who discovered that communism's not going to work in America, right?
Yeah, right. So this is soon after the Reformation. He comes over here with this whole new idea. It's not just him, but there was 102 passengers on the Mayflower, and half of them don't make it through the winter. There's 51 of them left, and he's the governor, and he lays down he plants the seeds and lays the template for what later becomes the greatest, freest, most prosperous, and generous nation the world has ever known.
Absolutely.
With more freedom, more liberty, more opportunity than we've ever had. And he's an amazing guy. I'd love to sit down and talk with him.
We can't get you him, but if you have time today, go next door.
Oh, wow.
I believe we have his watch, and I believe we have his mirror, and I believe we have some of his writings.
JP will hook you up over there.
JP will hook you up with all that
JP will
stuff.
hook-
So that's the closest thing I could get you to William Bradford.
Yeah, you have amazing artifacts over there.
Yes, we do.
I've seen some of those. David Barton took us through, and it's pretty incredible. You got to go in there, Zach.
Yeah.
There's
go.
a ring with a lock of George Washington's hair in it, right?
That belonged
his
to-
wife gave to Jefferson or something.
No, what's the other
Not
guy?
Jefferson.
Oh my
no,
gosh.
not
Hamilton.
Jefferson. Hamilton.
Yes.
And do they have does somebody have the coat with the bullet holes in it?
We have the coat with the blood.
The
Not
coat with the
bullet.
blood.
Yes.
Like
Lincoln's blood.
crazy artifacts.
Yes.
I think I
sitting
know
over
what you
there.
guys are about to go do, so I better let you go.
This is after bacon.
Yes.
After bacon. Go
after
get
bacon.
some
After
bacon.
eggs and bacon,
Eggs
not
and
just
bacon.
bacon.
Is there any flavor combination that delights your taste buds more
Absolutely
than
not.
coffee and bacon
Nope.
together?
Nope.
I've never really thought that one through, but
I don't know.
that might be
It might be the
golden
That's
ticket.
100%.
that's right.
That's the closest thing you get to God on earth.
That's right. That's right.
Bacon and
and
coffee.
Well, listen,
Man.
Zach Bell, thanks for bringing us Kirk Cameron
Yes.
today. We've had a
It was
blast
fun.
with you guys, and go find some bacon. And thanks
Yes.
for joining
Oh,
us.
yes. There you
Who's
that's,
this?
Okay, so this is okay. All right, hold on. Here's the backstory. Okay,
I
That's
thought
David
it was Boss
Hogg.
Hogg at the beginning.
It is
well,
Hogg.
it is. David
Yes.
Hogg has been superimposed on Boss Hogg. A listener of ours made us that pillow when the whole My Pillow thing, and David was starting his own pillow company, and so there you go.
That's Roscoe P. Coltrane
Roscoe P.
and Boss
Coltrane.
Hogg.
Yeah, there you go.
I watched Dukes of Hazzard.
Me too. Religiously.
Another great show.
Yes. Oh, absolutely underrated. Am I right?
Yeah.
No one believes me around here, but that is one of the best shows of all time. Anyway,
Just some good old boys, never
meaning no harm. Been running from the law. Since the day- Hold on, running from since the day they were born. Hold on, what is it? Hold on. Oh, I'm not letting this go. Been running from the law. Running from the law since the day they were born. Now I'm frustrated. Now my brain is to go listen to Waylon.
You're going to go look that up.
All right, y'all have a good one. Thanks so
You
much,
too.
guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.